Let's have a little discussion, shall we? Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're here, you know who I am. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about why there's no wisdom in heathenry and Asatru. It's particularly among the latest crowd of snake oil peddling salesmen and wannabes. Might have a little Viking spaceship, or might have a society, version of the Edda they wrote themselves. Let's take a look at why. And we'll not use my words for it. Let's use the wisest man in history. In Phaedrus, written circa 370 BCE, Plato recorded Socrates' discussion of the Egyptian myth of the creation of writing. In the process, Socrates faulted writing for weakening the necessity and power of memory, and for allowing the pretense of understanding rather than true understanding. That's exactly fucking right. From Plato's dialogue, Phaedrus 14, 274c, 275b, Socrates, I heard then that at Naucratis in Egypt was one of the ancient gods of the country, the one whose sacred bird is called the ibis, and the name of the god himself was Thuth. He it was who invented numbers and arithmetic and geometry and astronomy, also draughts and dice, and most important of all, letters. Now the king of Egypt at that time was the god Thamus, who lived in the great city of the upper region, which the Greeks call the Egyptian Thebes. And they call him the god himself Ammon. To him came Thuth to show his inventions, saying that they ought to be imparted to the other Egyptians. But Thamus asked what was their use in each, and as Thuth enumerated their uses, expressed praise or blame according as he approved or disapproved. The story goes that Thamus said many things to Thuth in praise or blame of the various arts, which would take too long to repeat. But when they came to the letters, this invention, O king, said Thuth, will make the Egyptians wiser and will improve their memories, for it is an elixir of memory and wisdom that I have discovered. Sound familiar? But Thamus replied, most ingenious Thuth, one man has the ability to beget arts, but the ability to judge of their usefulness or harmfulness to their users belongs to another. And now you, who are the father of letters, have been led by your affection to ascribe to them a power the opposite of that which they really possess. For this invention will not produce forgetfulness in the minds of those who learn to use it, because they will not practice their memory. Their trust in writing, produced by external characters which are no part of themselves, will discourage the use of their own memory within them. You have invented an elixir not of memory, but of reminding, and you offer your pupils the appearance of wisdom, not true wisdom, for they will read many things without instruction, and will therefore seem to know many things, when they are for the most part ignorant and hard to get along with, since they are not wise, but only appear wise. And that's pretty much how I feel about most of the new self-styled gurus, wannabe heathen leaders, and snake oil salesmen. Hell, that's the way I feel about some of the old ones too. They may have read this book. They may have read these things. They may have interpreted it as they see fit. They may have read all of it and think that they know. But if you haven't gone through life, if you haven't lived life, if you haven't had a mentor, you don't know shit. You might just want to sit down and let people that know what they're talking about, that have been through life and lived it, that have helped others get through it, do what they're supposed to do. Instead of creating the sensationalized ideas that some radical political agenda might really truly serve to better my heathen purpose, or that some newfound popular loudmouth might be, well, he might be the way to go. Though they read the words, they possess not the wisdom. And it's something we need to be paying attention to. If you're part of a tribe, part of a community, you study these things, you memorize these things, you begin to understand them, you begin to understand how to apply them to life's lessons. When we sit here and watch these individuals decipher it of their own accord and then argue with each other about the quality of their heathenry based on what book they have or have not read, there's no wisdom in that. And there sure as fuck ain't no life skills in it. And yet we expect this spirituality to provide us some kind of guidance to move us forward in the world. It's going to be awfully difficult to do when the most important thing anyone is trying to do is be right. I think I'd rather be happy than right. So next time you hear somebody telling you that they've read such and such book, that they have a true understanding and a recognition of what it means to live the heathen worldview, or what it means to be alpha, or what it means to be beta, or what it means to be Asatru, or what it means to be what the fuck ever. You got to ask yourself, quite frankly, that's what we need to be encouraging. When are we going to start being the doubting Thomas? When are we going to start saying, well, how's that help me? How does that interpretation do a damn thing to help me put food on the table, take care of the people I love, succeed at work or job or business or whatever I happen to be doing? How does that interpretation do anything like that? How does that interpretation do anything more than make the person giving it seem like they're more important than you? Because I assure you, if you pay attention to it, if you go over it later on down the line, you'll realize, hell, that guy was telling me that because, well, it's like conspiracy theories. You can't prove them, but it's always an ego-boosting proposition. Well, I know something that you don't, therefore I'm just a little bit better than you. You understand, right? Mm-hmm. Though they read the words, they possess not the wisdom. Few things are more a finer example of that than the latest proponents of hell, flat earth, for all I care, the conspiracy theories. How's it going to have to put food on the table? When are we going to start figuring out how to keep it simple and apply it to our lives? How is that interpretation you just told me going to help me deal with the pain of my father's death? How is that interpretation you just told me going to help me deal with the loss of a child, the separation, a divorce, the death of a parent? When are we going to start asking those questions? When are we going to start expecting that from the leaders of our community? Because there are probably millions of heathens now. And I'm not saying build an asapope, but I'm saying if you're going to stand up and talk about what you think you know, you better possess a little bit of wisdom. And I'm not seeing people demand it. Let's demand it.